Alright, today our lesson is on circumference. And so let's start by drawing a circle and labeling some important parts of the circle that will relate to our lesson. Okay, so first of all, I want to label the line that goes all the way across the circle. This line is called the diameter. Okay, the line or the dot at the middle is the center of the circle. And this line that extends from the center to the edge is known as a radius. You actually can have a ton of both diameters and radii. It would be radii. It's not radiuses. Anyways, anywhere that starts at the middle and goes to the edge is a radius. So technically, middle to this edge, that's another radius. From here and down, that's another radius. And I could draw lines all the way around, starting at the center. All of those would be a radius. Now, as long as I go from edge to edge and cross through the center, I could draw another diameter on the circle. So I could extend this radius all the way to this edge, and that could be called a diameter as well. So as long as the line goes from edge to edge and crosses through the center, it is a diameter. Okay, so let's define some of these words. Alright, so circumference is the distance around a circle. Your diameter is the distance across the circle through the center. Okay, and the radius is the distance from the center to any point on the circle. Okay, an important thing to note about the radius, it's half of the diameter. Okay, does anybody have a question about these terms at this point? Okay, so we'll start right in with some examples. Let's say you have a circle and the diameter is 14 inches. Find the radius. Okay, so you might be given problems in words, but they also might draw a picture. Okay, so to figure out the radius, we go back up to our definition and remember that the radius is half of the diameter. So if a number is half of something, what operation do we use in order to solve that, Seth?
Division.
And so specifically with half, we'll divide by
2.
Okay, so all I have to remember, radius will be the diameter divided by 2. All right, so that would be, the diameter is 14. Divide that by 2, and I will get 7 inches as my answer. And that's it for that one. Okay, well, what if we're given the radius? Radius is 8 feet. Find the diameter. All right, they might draw an image for you. Okay, well, if they give us the radius, but we want to know how far it is all the way across, now what operation can we use, Jay?
Multiplication.
Okay, and again, because the radius is half of the diameter, we're going to multiply by,
2.
okay, to get the whole diameter. So our formula there, the diameter will equal 2 times the radius. Okay, so 2 times the radius of 8 will give us a diameter of 16 feet. Okay, now I'm going to give you 4 to try quickly on your own. Okay, if the diameter is 23, find the radius.
Can we use calculator?
Yes, you may use calculators. If the radius is 3, find the diameter. If the diameter is 16, find the radius. And if the radius is 5 2/10, find the diameter. Okay?
For C, why does it have 2 answers?
Because I wrote the answer. Sorry. Well, that should make it easy for you. With these, the actual work is not difficult, but you have to remember the difference between the radius and the diameter. If you get those flip-flop, of course, all of your answers will be wrong. Okay, so if I'm given the diameter, I need the radius. Will I be multiplying or dividing?
Dividing.
Okay, so give me an answer on A. I'm dividing 23 by 2, and what do I get, Aiden?
11.5.
Thanks. Okay, on B, they gave me the radius. I need the diameter. Will I multiply or will I divide by 2?
Multiply.
Okay, So then I'll say 3 times 2, and what will I get?
6.
Okay, and on D, they gave me a radius of 5.2. I need the diameter. Will I multiply or will I divide? Bless you, yes? So 5.2 times 2 will give me, Nadia?
10.4.
Good job. Okay, and that's all there is to that part. Okay, so now let's take it another step farther and look at circumference. Okay, so there's 2 formulas to remember for circumference. Okay, you can use the diameter or you can use the radius to find the circumference. So circumference is either pi times the diameter, if they give you the diameter, or circumference is 2 pi r, which really, if you think about it, 2 times the radius will give you what? What did we just practice? 2 times the radius will give us the diameter. So that's why you can use either one of these formulas to get your circumference. Yesterday, when you did your self-directed learning about pi, you would learn that pi is not an exact number. It's a decimal that goes on forever and ever and ever. It never stops. Okay, so circumference, or if we take the circumference divided by the diameter of a circle, we get about 3. So when I take, again, let me look at my drawing here. So if I take, watch, if I take the circumference and I divide it by the diameter of a circle, of any circle, it's about 3. Did y'all know that these little squiggle equal marks mean about?
No.
Okay, make sure you label that then. You're going to see that a lot. These little squiggle equal marks mean about. That means it's an estimate. All right, so about 3, because the exact ratio is 3.141596, and it keeps going forever and ever and doesn't stop, which never ends. But we estimate at 3.14. So this is pi. So pi, which is just spelled P-I, pi is spelled, or pi is circumference divided by your diameter, which is about 3.14. So in our lesson, anytime we use pi, anytime you see this little pi sign, plug in 3.14 for your answer. Now, because 3.14 goes out to the hundredths place, it's going to mean a lot of our answers will probably end up with decimals. So on almost all of our answers, I think it says for you to round to the nearest tenth. So remember, the tenths place is just here, right past the decimal. Jay?
So any problem where it shows the pi sign, it's automatically 3.14?
Yes. Okay, so now let's practice finding circumference. So let's find the circumference of a circle with a radius of 21 inches. Okay, so they gave me radius. So I'll use the circumference formula that has the radius. Circumference equals 2 pi r. Okay, so now I have these variables because right now pi is in there as a variable. It's a symbol. R is in there as a variable. So now I'm going to plug in the numbers that I know directly underneath so I don't make a mistake. So that'll be 2 times. Now what did I say to put in when I see the pi symbol? 3.14. And then the problem tells us that the radius is 21. Okay, so then I type all those numbers into my calculator. 2 times 3.14 times 21. So I get 131 and 88/100ths. Okay, so if I'm rounding this to the nearest tenth, this 8 would round this 8 to a... Okay, if I'm rounding to the nearest whole number, what would I get?
132.
So it's about 132 inches. And remember, we can use the little squiggle equal in place of about. Okay. All right, I want you to find the circumference for this one. First of all, did it give me radius or diameter?
Diameter.
It goes all the way across. So I'll use the formula. Circumference equals pi times the diameter. What's pi? 3.14. What's the diameter?
70.
Type it into your calculator. Questions? All right, try this one. That's 7/8. Which formula shall I use?
Divide.
What's my circumference formula?
C equals 2 pi times radius.
2 pi r, because it gave me the radius. Okay, so now we'll plug in. What's pi?
3.14.
Okay, and the radius? 7/8. All right, now I would change this to a decimal. How do I change a fraction to a decimal? Lily?
7 divided by 8.
Very good, because that fraction bar just means to divide. So 7 divided by 8 will turn this into a decimal. 0.875 or 875 thousandths. Okay, so then I multiply my calculator. 2 times 3.14 times 0.875. Now, because this particular question started with a fraction, more than likely they would want us to answer in a fraction. So, if I'm going to estimate, I'm going to use my little squiggle equal. I bet it has a real name. I don't know what the real name of it is. Okay, anyways, if I'm going to write this as a fraction, what kind of fraction is it? Or what kind of number is it? The number is 5 and 495,000. It's a mixed number. Okay, so my whole number is
5.
Now I'm going to estimate for my fraction part. What would this 9 do to this 4?
Bring it up to a 5.
So then what would my fraction part estimate be? If it was 5.5,
1.
say it, Reagan. 1/2. 5.5 is our estimate. Okay, here's another type of example. It's a long problem. You don't have to write the whole directions. You can just write the pieces you need if you'd like. Alright, so a circular fence is being placed to surround a tree. The diameter of the fence is 4 feet. How much fencing is used? Use 3.14 for pi, which we need to automatically do. And we'll round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so which formula shall we use? Look back in our word problem. Okay, Jay?
Circumference equals pi times diameter.
Diameter. That's correct. Okay, so then we plug in what we know. What did it say to use for pi?
3.14.
And what's our diameter?
4.
Plug it into your calculator. And then it said round to the nearest tenth. So this is the tenths place. What does the 6 do to the 5?
Brings it up to a 6.
Okay, I just have one more thing to show you to help you with your practice. I'm going to section it off here. Pretend my circle's perfect. Okay, so couple of things. One thing, these are all line segments. Bless you. Okay, so when we're naming the diameter, we could name it by the line segments, and they're labeled with different letters. So if it has a question that says name the diameter, think about the rules for diameter. The diameter is a line that must go all the way across, right? Okay, so the other part of it is it has to go through where?
The central.
Okay. Do you see the line that goes all the way across and goes through the center? Okay, what are the two letters of the line segment that goes all the way across and through the center? Erica? Okay, so what you do is you name it like this. You put a little line. That means line segment. And then A, D. And usually you put whatever letter comes first in the alphabet first. Okay, you might have something that says name a radius. Okay, who thinks they can name a radius? Aiden?
F and C.
From F to C. Okay, can anybody name another one? Hannah?
C-E? C-E?
We've already done the F and C one.
I said
Jordan?
E-O.
Okay, notice here, that's a good guess. It does start at the center, but look. Doesn't go all the way to the edge, so it doesn't get to count. Good try. Lamar?
F-D.
F to D. And really, if I say D to F, that's the same thing. Either way is fine. Shelby? Okay, good.
What about A-S? Oh, never mind.
All right, now, what about segment AB? Is it a diameter?
Yes.
It goes across.
Yes.
It is a diameter?
No.
Does it meet all the requirements for diameter?
No.
What? It goes across, but it
doesn't go through the middle.
it does not go through the middle. So it's not a diameter. Also, they might say name the circle. If you see that. You would just call it circle F. You go by that center.